What's up, guys? This is Kephas.
I cannot believe it's finally happening, you guys. World of Warcraft is finally adding player housing.
Hell, it's about time.
This is huge because it's something that many of us have been hoping to see for years, and it's a huge milestone for the game. There are so many other MMOs that already offer player housing as a core feature, so it really is about time WoW added this as well. Housing isn't just a fun add-on though. It has the potential to transform the game in ways that go beyond like the traditional progression system. And today I want to break down why I think that player housing matters so much to so many WoW players and how it really could reinvigorate the game if it's done right. One of the main reasons why player housing is so exciting is that it provides a new way to interact with Azeroth. You know, for years, WoW has been dominated by this traditional progression-based gameplay, and one that is tied to squad-based or group content, you know, like dungeons and raids and Mythic Plus, which are all about, you know, team-based gameplay. And while this has kept WoW engaging for hardcore players, it also limits the game's appeal for those who don't have the time or drive to dive into challenging in-game content. Housing, on the other hand, gives players a personal space within the game, a place to call their own, customize, and even showcase their achievements. This feature creates a new form of investment that isn't tied to combat or that progression system. It's a chance to immerse yourself in the world in a way that feels meaningful and uniquely yours. And it could also make the game feel like a truly lived-in world. When I think about what drew me to World of Warcraft to begin with, and I think this is probably true of a lot of players actually, I don't think of meta chasing or min-maxing, number crunching, rushing to in-game to run instance content with a small group of other players. None of that stuff comes to mind. I think about this idea of this massive world where I'm not necessarily playing with other players, but where I'm exploring alongside other players. It's a world that I'm sharing with a large group of other people, feeling similar to the real world. And this is something that I think that classic WoW manages to capture in a different way, where because you're on this long journey and you're exploring this massive world that takes a bit of time to navigate, you're also doing it alongside lots of other people who are scattered all over the place, making WoW feel like a more lived-in world. Now, to be fair, I really do enjoy playing retail WoW. I like the content that I'm doing. I enjoy running dungeons, doing delves, the progression system. I look forward to my weekly vaults and doing other weekly activities. It's been enjoyable. In spite of that though, I do still find myself wanting to be more immersed in the game and in the world. And I think that this is something that player housing can help with in a lot of ways, while hopefully offering up new reasons to venture out into the world, explore, craft, and collect new types of items, and carve out a space that you can call your home somewhere out in that world. When I look at some other MMOs, the housing systems that they offer have driven entire in-game economies, and WoW's could do the same. Imagine if WoW introduced new professions tied specifically to housing, like lumberjacking or carpentry, that allows players to create furniture, decorations, and even structures. This would add layers of player interactions with the economy, encouraging trade and craft crafting in ways that reach beyond typical gear upgrades. And many players in games like Final Fantasy XIV spend just as much time crafting for housing as they do progressing through dungeons. And it's easy to see WoW benefiting from this kind of balance. Housing would also create opportunities for meaningful rewards from all areas of the game, motivating players to engage in more activities to unlock unique items for their home. I think it all boils down to how Blizzard will implement player housing. You know, a lot of WoW players are skeptical about this. I mean, when are WoW players not skeptical? But I think it's a little bit fair in this case because a lot of people are comparing this to garrisons. And if that's strange to you, try and remember that garrisons were sort of presented as WoW's answer to player housing. But I think the reason why garrisons failed was because of how heavily they were tied to in-game progression, so much so that that system sort of took over the entire expansion, and rather than feeling like a personal haven, garrisons felt kind of like a prison. I think in order to make player housing work, you have to accept the idea that not everything you add to the game has to be tied to player power or in-game progression. It's okay to have slice of life content or side projects, in this case, a customizable home. I think player housing works when it's valuable but not necessarily essential. I mean, you can add things that tie your home to other things that you're doing in the game, like a trophy system where you can display some of your accomplishments in your home, like Onyxia's head or a cool weapon that you've acquired that you can hang up or mount on your wall. You know, you could add in crafting stations and have a mailbox. Things like that are fine, but even then you have to be careful with those convenience aspects. You wouldn't want to add in too much and remove the incentive to actually leave your house. Why would a person still want to go to town, and what would they have in their home? Well, you might still want to go to town to visit the bank or visit the auction house or some other shops. You wouldn't necessarily want to have all those things in your home because ultimately here the goal is to make it immersive. It's about making it fun, immersive, and valuable without making it necessarily essential and so convenient that you're not having to engage with anything else in the game.
Alright, I get it!
Ultimately, I feel like player housing could be a major step toward making WoW a more immersive and rewarding experience. It's a feature that brings customization, creativity, and social connection all in one. Imagine if they eventually expand this to something like guild halls. That would be really cool. Blizzard has a golden opportunity to give us something truly special, a place we can finally shape and call our own in the world of Azeroth, a world that many of us have been exploring for many years. I would love to hear what you all think about player housing and the future of WoW in the comments below. With all that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button, and feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook, and if you'd like, you can support my work on Patreon. Links to all that stuff can be found in the description below. This is Kephas, until next time.